There's so much shit out there. Where do we start? Hey, what's good everybody? Back at you again with another video, and today we're gonna talk about what's the best gear for shooting photos. The people wanna know. I get this one all the time. What's the best camera to shoot with? What's the best lens? The one you can afford? Nah, but really start with the best lens, camera, and light that you can afford. The game isn't about having the best and the newest equipment, and I say this all the time. I stand by it. I've always said this. It's about telling stories and driving emotion. Do you have captivating photos? You want to capture people's attention with your photos. Now, there are some essentials that you do want to have in your arsenal, but that doesn't mean that they have to be the newest or the most expensive. That's like buying these new iPhones every year. They drop a new phone and it comes out with one feature and they charge you $1,000 for that one feature. My first camera was a Canon GL2. That shit recorded on tapes. At the time, I wanted a 5D Mark II. Then 2 years later, I got the 7D, and then the following year, I ended up getting that 5D Mark II. And then I ended up wanting a Red, and so on and so forth. Let's keep it real though, this is an expensive profession to be in. So we wanna make the best business decisions possible without breaking the bank, right? The point here is to keep expenses low and profits high. So first things first, make sure you do your own research. A lot of this stuff is conditional on the style of photography that you shoot. But assuming, since you're here listening to me talk about it on my channel, you're probably trying to shoot something that's similar to one of the styles that I shoot. So I'm gonna give you my best advice. But really, my first recommendation is whatever camera body that you can afford. Once upon a time, BC, before COVID, I shot with a 5D Mark III for 6 years. I was Canon gang for everything. Canon absolutely kills color. But in 2020 AC, after COVID, I started shooting with my video camera, which is a Sony A7 III. Sony is also fire. It's got more megapixels, it's mirrorless. The image quality is pretty sharp. So I kind of switched over to that from 2020 forward. I've been shooting majority of my work with Sony. So I would recommend either Canon or Sony and whatever body that you can afford. For lenses, I'd recommend a mid-range zoom, something like Canon 2470 or a Tamron 2875, which is actually my go-to. This is what I'm shooting on right now. And if you're familiar with my Instagram, the majority of the work that's on there is shot with a Tamron 2875 on both Canon and Sony. Tamrons are super clutch for their price point and the quality that they deliver at that price point. They're also super lightweight too. I know Sigmas are fire lenses, but they're heavy. That 28 to 75 millimeter is a super versatile focal length. I shoot beauty with it, fashion, I shoot product with it. I shoot a lot of video with it. It's a really solid lens. And for lighting, I started with the Alienbees B800 from Paul C. Buff. They have Einstein too, which those are fire too. I've used those a few times. My B800, that was the first light that I got. I actually still have that light and shoot with it to this day. And then I also ended up going back and getting a B400 and probably gonna grab a couple more. I really don't shoot with more than like 2 lights at a time. So sometimes having that third light could help, but I don't use that many lights all the time. So I've actually stuck with this brand because they have super quality products. They never let me down. I've blown a fuse and a tube a couple times. The tubes, you can just order them, and if it's a fuse, if you don't want to do it yourself, you can send the light back and they'll send it back to you. It doesn't take that long either. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more budget friendly, I look into a couple speed lights and maybe just get some diffusers for those. Those you'll be able to find at a better price point for your kit. So if you guys are to get these things, you should be good to go. But that's not to say that all of these things are necessary. Build your kit over time. I happened to get a small loan from my dad for $1 million. Nah, I'm with you. That's some Trump shit. I just happened to drop a small amount of money on all of my equipment at one time when I first got started. I already had my camera from shooting videos. So I pretty much just invested in my light, my softbox, my stand, and a battery pack for my light so I can shoot outdoors with it. I do shoot a lot of natural light. Again, if you're familiar with my work, a lot of that is shot in natural light. So you can build your kit over time. Just start with a camera and your lens. Most importantly, you have to be able to tell a story and convey emotion and conviction with your photos. That's what's gonna make your photos stand apart from everybody else's. It's not about the equipment. It's not about having the newest stuff. It's not about having the most expensive stuff. Like I said, I shot on the 5D Mark III since 2014 until 2020. So we're talking about a 6-year gap. They dropped all types of Canons in between these points, and I stuck with my 5D. So for those of you that stuck through this, I wanna know, what do you have in your kit now? What are you shooting with now? What lens do you have? What camera body do you have? Do you have lighting? What are you shooting with? Drop that in the comments below. And drop your Instagram links too so I can check out your guys' stuff. I wanna see what type of work you guys are doing with what you have to work with. And that's it for this one. Make sure you hit that like button one time for your boys so we can boost the channel and get it out there a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification so you know the next time we drop.